ඇත්ත කෙටියෙන් දත්ත වැඩියෙන් සයිබර් අවකාශයේ කළඹන වුවත් සලකුණ News First YouTube channelය අදම subscribe කරන්න. News First Newsline.
It is in turmoil and chaos that we discover who we truly are. And for us Sri Lankans, we are at that rate or at that level of turmoil and chaos. Now all that's remaining is to discover who we truly are. On the 9th of July, many Sri Lankans showed what we are capable of, that the people will reign supreme no matter what. A strong message was sent to the political leaders of our country, a strong message hopefully that will echo throughout generations to come. However, since we are in turmoil and chaos, first priority of course is to restore some sort of normalcy, some sort of an environment in Sri Lanka where we can address the real crisis of the country, which is the economic crisis. To discuss these matters and more, we got on our show today Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, former minister, current parliamentarian of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. A very good evening, sir, and welcome to the show.
Very good evening.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming on our show. I do understand that these are very trying times. You must be a very busy person, and also with these many discussions going on. But we need someone to inform the people of what exactly is happening, because there is a lack of information, there is a lot of miscommunication, there is a lot of mistrust, and well, you can't really blame the people. With controversial statements coming out from everywhere, the people would at this moment probably believe something that is on social media than the government that they elected. And this is of course mainly because the government has lost their mandate, and I'm pretty sure everybody in Sri Lanka and across the world will agree on this. But let's start off today's discussion with this point of trust a little bit before we get into the more finer points, the specifics of what will transpire in Sri Lanka within the next few days, of course, because you are a person who is privy to these conversations. The interim president, or the interim president hopeful, that has been agreed at the party leaders meeting at least, is the Speaker of Parliament, Mahinda Abewardena. Now this is all on the presumption that the leaders, or the political leaders, the President and the Prime Minister, will remain true to their word and resign from their positions, the President tomorrow, I beg your pardon, on Wednesday the 13th, and the Prime Minister on a subsequent date, at which point the Speaker of Parliament, Mahinda Abewardena, will be interim President. But of course today there was more mistrust that was built against the Speaker, Mahinda Abewardena. Speaking to international media, he said that the President is no longer in the country. Shortly afterwards, he put out a release and said he was mistaken. Now, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, I believe everybody would have been really frustrated. I mean, I know I was when I saw this, because I was like, I mean, we fought so hard for democracy. We sent out an executive president in this country, or at least for the time being, hopefully sent him out. And then we're getting another interim president who, from the get-go, is making mistakes.
No, the Speaker can't make mistakes about the
whereabouts of the President.
Whereabouts about the President. If the Speaker doesn't know whereabouts the President, I don't know, something is wrong with his mind, I mean. You know, actually speaking, they want to hide something. When the President announced that he will be resigning on the 13th, right, about 3 days, before 13th, about before 3 days, 3 days before the 13th, right?
Okay.
We'll say 10th. He announced. Then I was thinking, why this 13th? Why this? Then I
was it an auspicious time?
I was inquiring, and I put my this thing wings to various places. Then I found that what is going on is that 13th is that he to leave yesterday or today. He is to leave the country. Yesterday he was expecting the protocols issues to be sorted out from Dubai and receive the message from our embassy, because he wants to leave the country as the head of the state. Then only that he will be treated as a head of state in the other country.
In Dubai.
Right? In Dubai. Or whatever the routes that he is taking, he will be treated. If he resigns as the president and leave the country, he will be treated as an ordinary citizen with a diplomatic passport. Because though in our country he is called ex-president, in those countries he becomes a citizen.
They have no regard.
No regard. So therefore he wanted to keep the actually his diplomacy, his status. That is why he wanted. So I heard later, yesterday he was expecting the green light from Dubai government, right? So that is why he would have got it yesterday. Yesterday you heard that there was some movement of the forces last night.
Yes.
Even the strugglers, they called me. Then I spoke to the higher ups in the forces. And then they confirmed, no, there is nothing, because the strugglers thought that they are going to bring the army and attack them and remove them from the places. But then they assured me that nothing will happen. Then I told them, no, it's something else. I said sometimes it may be some movement by the VIP movement is somewhere. So must be some movement of the president, because I was waiting at what time the president is leaving. Then 13th the resignation letter will be coming. What had happened? Now today, even at the business committee meeting, the speaker has said the president is in the country. Yeah, it is true.
So what time was the business committee meeting today?
Business committee meeting was at 2.
2 in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
But he left later from Ratmalane airport. Because I got another report from the Ratmalane airport from very high officials that the president and Basil Rajapaksa both are there in the airport. I don't know whether he came accompanying the president, the Basil, or he also wants to. But there is 17 people were to leave. The list has come, 17 people to leave. So then what happens? He gives the resignation letter to the speaker. That is why he announced only get the correct information from speaker, not from anybody else.
Right.
Not from the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Right? So he would have given the resignation paper post-dated to the president, to the speaker. Right. And he left the country. To my knowledge, he left to the speaker says to a
nearby
country. Yeah. Nearby country means it is Mali. From Mali he will leave to Dubai. From Dubai earlier he wanted to go to US, but now he can't go to US. His son's house been surrounded by the Sri Lankans, and there is a lot of demonstration against him, and they have filed cases also against him about his property and all that. So therefore he may stay in Dubai, but anyway he has left to Mali. From Mali he will go to Dubai. So this is but that is why the speaker said, as you say, the speaker said that he was mistaken. No, he couldn't actually
formulate
the formula properly, right? So he said yes, he had now left.
But he's coming back on Wednesday.
Then how the resignation is given? So he wants to say, no, he is coming back again. No, he won't come back. The resignation letter is here. So it will be handed over on the 13th.
Right.
This is the information I got. We will see who is correct. I may be not correct because I am not from the government, right? This is the information I have received. So it may be wrong. We will see on the 13th whether the president is resigning or whether he will be coming back, all that.
But of course, if the president does come back, it will be quite easy for him to prove the fact that he is in Sri Lanka. A simple video message from a Sri Lankan location would prove that. But
who is the president of a country, if he is coming back to the country, to leave the country at a time like this type of turmoil? The entire country, they are in disarray, and you know there is no government, there is no cabinet, there is those institutions are there, nothing functioning, and the country is like like Afghanistan or Tunisia now today. So you think that the president, a responsible president, will leave the country? No. Definitely, if he leaves, that means he is leaving for good, right? And he will never come back.
But there were statements made even from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. I can remember the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna saying that, the trust placed in the president will not be betrayed. He will, work for the people who voted for him. But doesn't quite seem like it.
The best way for him to work is to go home. That is what the people want, no? So he would have, he has served it in the best way by leaving.
Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, of course, it's quite frustrating that the interim president or prospective interim president to be is, caught up in such a controversy where he could have possibly lied. Right now, with the information available, I don't see any other way. It's a case of either the prospective interim president has uttered a lie, or he has made a serious mistake that we as Sri Lankans cannot afford right now. We can't afford people making mistakes and coming out and apologizing. That is what the president did. He said he made a mistake with the fertilizer ban. He said he made a mistake with the IMF agreement. These mistakes are the reason why you and I, and Dr. You as well, don't have fuel today. This is the reason why children can't go to school today. So we really can't afford anything more. Doctor, moving on to more pressing matters, what is next, Doctor? There were discussions held today. People are wondering, well, the interim president is only here for either a month or a shorter period of time if Parliament so decides to vote on the next president or I beg your pardon, the acting president. The speaker will be the acting president, and then the interim president will be appointed by Parliament. So it's a matter of time. Who is going to be the next interim president based on the discussions that you had?
No, now the Prime Minister says that he is not going to resign. If he is not going to resign, he will be the person who will be the acting president. So I think Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe also at this stage, he must be thinking, by losing the house also, he may think even for a day he will become the president, so his photograph will be hanged at President Secretariat. Right? This is the thing that he couldn't achieve by winning elections even. Now losing the election, he has become the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is okay.
Losing
he
his
has been
seat
the Prime
as well.
Minister earlier, but he has if he becomes the president, it's a history, not only in this country, in the entire world. A person who had lost
the
election had come back from the back door, where he himself has said that he will that the party has decision is not to appoint defeated candidates from the national list, but he had broken the rule and come to the Parliament and become the president and become the Prime Minister and become the president. So this shows the nature of the political electoral system in our country. That is why I always maintain from 1978 onwards, my policy was to abolish presidency, right? Change this electoral system. That is the best way the country to reform. So now the speaker has informed us that he is going to resign on 13th. And even the cabinet says, now cabinet ministers, about 4 cabinet ministers already had resigned. And now they say that the day when his resignation is submitted, the president's resignation is submitted, the other entire cabinet will resign. Okay, so that may be the dispute going between the board tour, Basil and Ranil. So Basil with Dhammika Perera and all that, that is why Dhammika resigned immediately when Ranil said, no, I will continue. So to discontinue, right? Anyway, that the cabinet is going to resign. So then Prime Minister will be an individual. He can't be there.
Right.
So anyway, the only way he can be there after 13th is to become the
acting president.
Acting president according to the constitution.
Right.
So he can be the acting president and the Prime Minister, just 2 posts, but he can't do anything, no cabinet, nothing. So then we therefore, as a responsible opposition from the 7th, we got together all parties and we said we were working out to form a interim all party government. So for these discussions, except JVP, all other parties came there. About nearly 20 parties came together, and we were actually we appointed a steering committee on that to work out to continue the work. From the steering committee, we appointed 2 committees. The one committee is on finance, the other one is political committee. So they appointed, all the parties got together and appointed Dr. Harsha De Silva as the convener of the finance committee, and they appointed me as the convener of the political committee. Then from that day, from the next day, then after that, on the from that day onwards, that we sat and worked out these 2 committees, and today we finalized both the reports. So in the political committee, actually we decided that above the cabinet to form 2 bodies. One is the National Leaders Council,
right,
where all political party leaders will be in that council. So they won't be able to be in the cabinet, right? They are the people who is going to take the decisions. Those decisions will be implemented through the cabinet. Then there would be another National Advisory Council, where the National Advisory Council consists of all experts, professional association members, then senior trade union members, senior civil organization members, and representative of certain of political parties who are not represented in parliament. Right, all those people will be there. They will advise the Leaders Council. The Advisory Council, all those people will advise the Leaders Council, and the Leaders Council take the decisions and pass on to the cabinet for implementation. Okay, that should be. So this is where actually we are going to form a new form of government, where the people's participation will be there in the implementation of policies for the people. Right, that is one.
And of course, because there are multiple parties, multiple stakeholders involved, there is more accountability in this matter, and of course less corruption that has played a vital part in the situation that we are facing as a country today. Doctor, we'll cross over to a short commercial break. There is of course many more questions that need to be posed to you. Now, Doctor, you said that according to the information that you have, the President's letter of resignation has already been signed, post-dated, handed over to the Speaker. But now we are facing another crisis, because Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has said that he is willing to resign from his premiership after an interim government is formed. Now, there is questions in the language that is used there, simply because of the fact, how can you form an interim government without the Prime Minister first resigning? We'll discuss these matters after this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Newsline Live.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Will the President resign? Prime Minister's stance.
ව්‍යවස්ථාවෙන් පිට අපි ක්‍රියා කරන්නට යන්නේ නැහැ. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවටත් බල කරන්න බෑ. පිටින් ඉඳගෙන මේ වැඩ කරන්න කියලා. මම ඉන්නේ මෙතන ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කරන්න.
The next step of the party leaders.
එන පැය 24ක් තුළ අපි සුබවාදීව ඒකට යම් ප්‍රවිෂ්ටියක් ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු.
20 වෙනිදා ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් පත් කරගන්න දින නියම කරගන්නවා.
President's house still open to the public. The request made from the police headquarters.
ජනමාධ්‍යවේදීන්ට පහර දීමක් සිදු වුණා. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපිට නිසි දැනුවත් කිරීමක් අවශ්‍යයි.
New method to distribute gas. Will fuel shipments arrive soon?
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline Live. We're in discussion with Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, former minister, current parliamentarian of the Samagijana Balawege. Doctor, you were giving us some good information, of course, on what we can expect during the next couple of days, because I think there are only a very few people who are really aware of what is going to happen during the next few days, because there's so much uncertainty and the people are looking for answers. So, Doctor, we were speaking about the appointment of an interim government and the resignation of the Prime Minister, because there is some ambiguity there at least. Then just before the break you said that the President has already given his, according to the information available of course to you, that the President has given his letter of resignation to the Speaker and is already out of the country. Even the Speaker seems to be unsure of where the President is right now. So the President is going to face a little bit of an issue here, because if the Speaker of Parliament, who is the person who is slated to become the acting President after the resignation of the President, is to accomplish that, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe needs to resign. Am I correct?
No. If the President and the Prime Minister both resign together, then only the Speaker will come to act.
Right. So that must happen together, in unison.
Yes. If the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is ready to resign, then the next day the Speaker will start acting on
as the acting President.
The acting President.
So, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, you're saying that if on the 13th, which is the day that was announced officially by the President and the Speaker of Parliament as the date on which President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will resign from his position, if Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also does not resign on that same date, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will be the next acting President of Sri Lanka.
Yeah. The Prime Minister, after the meeting, after all that meetings where it was confirmed that the President is to resign, his media unit, Prime Minister's media unit, issued a statement saying Ranil Wickremesinghe will also be resigning.
Okay.
Okay. Then after about half an hour, they said no, he is not resigning. He will resign the day
the interim government
any other person shows the 113 number. Now he says that he will resign after the formation of the interim government. Yes. Now there should be somebody for the interim cabinet to swear in. So it should be if the Prime Minister is there, he would be the acting President, or otherwise the Speaker. So he might, when the cabinet to swear in, he might resign. Right? That is what he must be meaning. But it is the correct way is that he to resign immediately
with the President.
With the President, and we can form the cabinet and swear before the Speaker. Speaker is more legitimate than the Prime Minister, right? The Speaker is a legitimately elected member of Parliament who was legitimately elected to the post of Speaker in the proper way. So actually for us, for anybody to swear before him is the best way.
And also, since we are looking for political stability, since Sri Lankans are looking for selfless leadership, which Sri Lanka has not had for a very, very, very long time. It's always been political games here in Sri Lanka, and look where that has gotten all of us. So when Sri Lankans are looking at what is happening right now, since this crisis hit, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, one thing for the people to take this fight into their hands, Sri Lankans are known to be peaceful people, very welcoming people, and for the people to take this to such a level that millions came into Colombo when there were no buses, when there were no trains, when curfew was imposed, despite all of these hurdles, the reason why the people came to Colombo was because they were dissatisfied with the leaders and how they acted in Parliament, how they didn't work towards addressing the crises of the people. And after the Aragale, or this victory that the people spearheaded, now the opposition has stepped in and brought some sanity into this entire situation. But however, there is still uncertainty because the Prime Minister there is uncertainty as to if the Prime Minister will resign tomorrow. So in the off chance that the Prime Minister does not resign tomorrow and continues to hold office, and if what you're saying is true, the President has already, for all intended purposes, already resigned from his office, Is the opposition willing to work with the acting president, being Ranil Wickremesinghe, and do the rest?
No, we are not
work?
ready to work with him because he was not appointed he was, as the Prime Minister, not in the proper way, right? Because at that time, the President actually, if the Prime Minister resigns and there is a crisis in their own party, if the people of the country doesn't want anybody from the governing party, then he has to actually call the leader of the opposition. So he called the leader of the opposition. What did the leader of the opposition say? He didn't reject. He said, I will consult my members and the other members of the opposition. When it started the consultation, it continued daily. We met daily, our group, parliamentary group. And there were so many discussions, there were so many diverse opinions. Don't you know, in politics, everybody has different views. So, and when we discussed with all other parties, more and more
views came in. But Ranil Wickremesinghe beat him to the chase.
Finally, we came to a conclusion. These are the four conditions on what, subject to those four conditions only, that our leader of the opposition to swear in as Prime Minister.
Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, we're in the final few minutes of this show, so if I can just pose this question to you now. You say that you are not willing to work with the acting president if that acting president is the current Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, and there's a very real possibility that this will come into fruition, which will result in Sri Lanka meeting or being in a political stalemate again. And this is not a situation that we can really accommodate in Sri Lanka, given the economic crisis. The rule of law will collapse completely, Doctor. So what really is the way forward? What do you want to do?
We have already requested the Speaker to summon the Parliament.
Right.
To elect the Prime Minister and the President, both.
Right.
Right.
So you will do that faster than usual.
So, by next week, this will be somehow this will come to an end, and we will elect our president. We will elect our prime minister. Then the present prime minister has to leave.
So, but you're saying that there is still a very real possibility that we will have to live in a country where the president of the country, for all intended purposes, acting president, is an individual who lost the general election, came in from the national list, was appointed the prime minister, and then became the president.
Yes. And also, now this is a country where the president is missing. Nobody knows where he is, right? Only thing we assume here and there, but nobody knows. And he has not announced what is he going to do even. So that is the type of a president we had. Even the prime minister, we don't know where he is, right? Now at the moment where he is, right? So what is he going to do? None of the people. So we don't know whether there is a government, whether there is a cabinet existing, whether there is a cabinet is meeting to discuss matters about the present day turmoil. So nothing.
Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, thank you very much for joining us on this show. Thank you very much to all our viewers for tuning in. Of course, it's very important that all of us Sri Lankans remember why we are here and how we got here. It was decades of racism, decades of voting at an election based on emotion and false political promises. It's time that we as Sri Lankans step up, make right what we did wrong before, pay for our sins, of course, and for those of our leaders who will probably live lavish lives overseas once they are out of Sri Lanka, because, of course, they have citizenship in many other countries as well. But however, we as Sri Lankans, every religion that we believe in speaks about what will happen to people who do wrong. So let that be. Let nature take care of that. But we as Sri Lankans, we need to step up during these trying times, because every day that these issues go unsolved, more people in Sri Lanka suffer, more people die, more people lose their loved ones. So let's take this crisis one day at a time. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, for joining us on our show.
Thing, even we have set up all our policies. Even we have laid down. We have discussed with the strugglers, and they have given the Nirpakshika and the Sarvapakshika, right? A political group and the all party group. So both discussed with those people, and we have got their demands. We have put those demands as our
so the
policy
people's
program.
views will be represented in this new parliament. Thank you very much, Doctor, and to all our viewers, take care and God bless.
Newsfirst, ජනතාව සමග